entire field is full system except for those 2 strips. So you could look at this any spot in the field. This, I took my soil recommendation, which I can show you, and so this would have had 2 gallons of
315-19-3
with a quart of zinc, some manganese, and sugar in pearl. When I ran it through the planter, it would have got some foliar, some boron, and zinc again, foliar, along with some 318-18, and then the whole field minus those strips also got, when all that hail and wind came through, I put some fungicide with another shot of 318-18 foliar across the whole field. For the most part, the full system, adding, and then when I wide dropped, I also added some sidekick and more boron, and of course some more nitrogen when I wide dropped.
The sidekick is a potassium thiosulfate. It's a 002517. So we're adding potassium and sulfur. The lion's share of us in America, when it comes down to this stage of the corn crop, or actually if we'd come in here just at brown silk at R2, we would probably have showed being deficient in potassium. We have a hard time getting to that. And we get guys who say, well, you know, that all you need to do is dry apply. I'm very much a big fan of Dr. Mulvaney from Illinois. I believe he's a researcher who has no funding. I read a bumper sticker the other day, Bart. It said 92% of all researchers agree with the person that funded them. And so I think there's an awful lot of that goes on in the industry, especially at the college level. Mason was supposed to be here to see Randy. Mason hit a deer last night. He went deer hunting early. Season wasn't open yet, but he went and got one. And Jonathan Goddard was on his way up today, and he blew a tire along the road, and the town he was next to, all he had was a donut. He said, I can't drive that far. And it was 5:45 when he texted me. He said, they don't open till 8 and I can't make it. But if Jonathan, who makes our fertilizer, had been here, here's what he would tell you. Pivot Bio says you can't use their stuff in starter because most starter fertilizers kill the active ingredient in just a matter of minutes. They tested ours. No, they don't test out any farther, Randy. They only go 24 hours. But when they put a live bacterial product in our starter, it was friendly enough that 24 hours after they put it in there, it was still 100% active ingredient. It didn't kill anything off. And so that's the kind of product that Scott's row placing and putting directly on the seed. How does your 1034-0 go on? Is that a 2x2?
No, it's directly on the seed also.
On the seed also. And so how do you double apply 1034-0 and, or did you not co-apply those here?
I didn't co-apply.
So you dumped out the 1034-0.
Yep.
1034-0 was not built to be a row place starter. I know a lot of people do it, but the Tennessee Valley Authority developed that product to make it easier to handle fertilizer. It was supposed to be broadcast, which no one does, but it was not built to be row placed. When we start looking at row placing, it's important that we not decrease stand count, and we've got to make sure that we're doing that. So it's been 10 years you've been using our starter.
Yep.
And stand count results never change.
No, they've been good.
As I look at this, guys, we're looking at how do we fill this kernel out? How do we get, or this cob out? How do we fill it from the end to the end? How do we get more diameter around? Obviously, the number of rows is determined very early in that plant's life. And so what we've got to do is make sure that that corn plant isn't saying, hey, I'm deficient. If I'm deficient in something, Brad, then I step back on what I think I'm going to do and I'll make 14 instead of 16, 16 instead of 18. But if we have all the nutrients there, we set ourselves up for more success. And so that's what we're looking at with these as we start looking at this. And when Sheila and I were shucking these back last night, I mean, it was just noticeable how much difference there was in them. And very believable that there's going to be 40 or 50 bushel difference between the two. And that's kind of what we're really looking at.